My name is Joseph, and I would like to direct this question to my dear sisters over there. See, I have a concern. One, I support the bill, Honorable Lulume. But I don't know why people have a problem with the provision in the law that requires mandatory testing. As a person, that is my view. Because, number one, we are blaming government. And we are saying it is only 37 Ugandans who have tested for HIV.
37%.
37%. But we want government to plan for HIV positive, people who are living with HIV positive. How do you expect government to plan when we have a figure which is, unestimatable?
Okay,
we can't plan.
All right, let's put this question to the ladies.
And just finally,
yes,
from the legal perspective, if we say that we do away from the provision on mandatory testing, then that law will not have sanctions. That means that we are not going, if somebody walks to a lawyer and says that I slept with so and so, I mean, we are looking at the other side of the provision of the law. Somebody wants justice. Somebody slept with them who is HIV positive. Or
okay,
they suspect the person is HIV positive.
Okay,
how do you expect, just let me finish.
Yes.
How do you expect me as an advocate to help such a person? We don't have evidence that the person is HIV positive. That means that we need evidence that somebody is sick before you seek justice.
All right, ladies.
I think I'll start from where you stopped, that you need evidence as a lawyer. The only way you get that evidence is when somebody tests for HIV. Everybody in this room is a potential criminal. As a start, before the law. Yeah? So when the law comes into place, it makes you a better candidate for that crime. Because you're going to test. The only way you will be criminalized for transmission of HIV is because you took an HIV test. It is going to take us 20 years back to where we started. Because people are going to shun HIV testing. People will run away. I don't know how feasible it is to test people every day for HIV. But that is something that government seemingly can do. So HIV is not a fever. It is not Ebola. It is not meningitis. Yeah? It is something that you walk out of this room and contract just after you took a test. Yeah? So we are going to chase people from testing for HIV as a start because their knowing of their results places them in a position where they are criminals. That's number one. Number two, why we have a problem with that is because we do not see the viability of this HIV test. We don't have test kits when people are voluntarily going to test for HIV. But then the law is passed, the test kits are brought, everything is brought, and people run away. Are you going to catch people to go and test them? These are human beings. These are not cows. They are people. You have to talk to them, talk them into a system. How are you going to do that?
But also the other part of the question is, you slept with a person. You're a consenting adult, 18, above 18. It is your word against mine. And also, when I have HIV and I sleep with you, and in case you contracted it, or at that time I slept with you, it must be confirmed that that date, that minute, you didn't have that HIV. And we must have a machinery to test the DNA
Of the virus.
We have to test the DNA to prove that the virus Flavia has came from Fred
this person.
And at this time. We don't have that machinery. So it's like the government or this bill, this part of criminalization is intending to imprison people. You know, people in Luzira who have been there for the Kabaka's time. They are still there because they have no defense. They have no one to help them. And this is going to happen to the very poor
Dr. Lulume,
who have been, you have said I infected you, I go.
Dr. Lulume,
But proof.
if I do not test, how will you know that I haven't tested?
Well, first of all, let me respond a little bit to. I don't think that it is true that when you test, you are a potential criminal. you see, it is analogous to saying that everybody here is a potential thief. Yes, there could be a few thieves here.
I think the reason as to why she says that is because I think the reason is the bill says that if you transmit HIV knowingly. Now in order to do it knowingly, you have to know your status.
You have to know your
so
status.
if you don't know your status,
Yeah.
then you can't transmit it knowingly. However, once you find out your status and you are positive, that means
Yes.
you're a candidate for
You're
transmitting.
Right. You're right.
Yes.
We are saying, and let us not really be negative on this. When we are saying that we want to create obligations of the state, government must spend to get those machines for molecular studies. Yes,
No,
these
doctor,
are obligations that any government, serious
Doctor,
government,
I don't think
excuse
testing.
me, any serious government, especially government faced with this a problem of this enormity, must think about innovative ways of curbing it. Why shouldn't we in Uganda have molecular science?
But doctor,
Why should we
I
be
think-
crying about resources?
Doctor.
We should be having a lot of resources in
Okay,
this
let me
country.
just ask you this
Dr.
question.
Lulume and the ladies
Just
on the
one
panel
question.
today. Unfortunately,
Does it mean you want this government, it's not serious, it should go so that we have better services? Because you are saying any serious government means that this government is not
I
serious.
am on
Dr. Lulume is in the opposition. Dr. Lulume is a member from the
justifies it.
opposition.
I'm in
And
the
therefore-
opposition.
Doctor, I think for us to assume that this government or the next government can do this and leave it hanging in balance, the bill does not anywhere clearly state. It says government shall take reasonable means. What is reasonable?
And when?
And how do we measure reasonable?
It
That
should
is the
be
question.
in respect with the
So,
enormity
let us take
of
out
the
the testing.
situation at
Okay,
hand.
my
put in a
panelists,
clause
thank you very
for
much.
service
Thank you
provision.
very much for the debate today. We've come to the end of today's show. The fight of HIV/AIDS is a fight that's not only left to government, but you and me. So you and me should get our feet into this debate. If you have a chance, go to Parliament and have your voice recorded on what exactly should be entailed in this bill. Because at the end of the day, it affects you and me. Thank you for watching our Parliament. Until next week when we bring you another debate, I'm your host, Iguma Gabriel.